VCs actually spoke about that women don't tend to be as egotistical or pushing their ego when they come to pitch, and that in a way there's two guards here. Some of the VCs like that absolutely strident, egotistical sort of, I can do this and I can solve those problems and I can make all these millions of dollars. They like that pushiness, and then some of the others say, well, you know, obviously that's unrealistic, and at some point they're going to sort of hit the wall of reality and get a bit more pragmatic. But they did tend to say that women don't tend to be as egotistical or pushy. And someone who I guess everyone's heard of is Cindy Gallop. She said that everything conspires to leave us feeling insecure. So part of how we're trained and our culture, and I have seen and helped out a lot at ASTIA, which is a women's organisation, watching women pitch, and I do notice that you know, they might have a fabulous business and they get up on the stage and they totally let themselves down when they actually go to do the pitching. Obviously that's what ASTIA is there for. They, you know, once you've invested in their membership, they'll support you and coach you. But I think that somehow, and one of the things that a friend of mine who was a lecturer in Melbourne at La Trobe University, he said that women often don't feel that what they've achieved is because of themselves. They often will give credit to everything around them. And at that stage I was doing radio shows in Melbourne, and how the conversation came up was he said, oh, that was really a great conversation you had on the radio the other night. And I was like, oh yes, but that was because blah, 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 blah. And I immediately did exactly, and that's when he says, I've noticed this with women, that, you know, a guy would go, yeah, I was really great, wasn't I? You know? And there I was, like, throwing it away. So, you know, I think that for me, I'm obviously much longer in the tooth than a lot of you, but I've spent most of my life really trying to build a sense of self up and get some clear idea about what it is I can do and what I can't do, my weaknesses and my strengths. Yeah. I did ask the question, should we play like the boys? And one of the things that all the VCs say is that they need entrepreneurs to be authentic and have integrity and to be themselves. So if you go in there and you're pretending to be someone else, you probably won't get the funding from that investor. The other thing is, harking back to my online dating days, how can you get a really good match if you lie on your profile or you pretend to be someone else, which of course is a huge problem in the online dating world still, I think, even though I'm totally out of touch with it. But, you know, if you lie and pretend to be someone else, either by a, you know, slimmer photo or a younger face or just some bullshit that you write in your profile, you're not going to get the right match because they're going to be matching with someone that's not you. Now, this generally doesn't happen in the women's side of things, but does happen a lot with the guys. Maybe the flattering photo piece might happen. I know I was even tempted to that after I put on weight. So, but still, you know, you don't really get an authentic match. So it's the same with going in for investment. That person across the table is a human being to start with, and that was the aim of one of the aims of my videos. If he gives you funding or she gives you funding, you're going to be working with that person. It's like a marriage, and a lot of the VCs say that it is like a marriage. It's like a business partnership, and you have to, at the very least, like them, and they have to like you. Just that initial chemistry. And you have to be able to communicate with them, and sometimes, just naturally, we have some problems with certain people, but it's hard for them either to hear you or you to hear them, or to be able to assert yourself with them. So if any of those just very basic problems occur, you know, you get out of there. You know, it's not worth your time, wasting your time. Great VC in LA called Mark Suster, who I totally recommend his blog, although he hasn't been writing for the last 8 months because he was getting a fund together. But he is a great educator about that stuff. And he said to me, well, he did write a blog post years ago, and then he said to me in the interview that you must talk about the elephant in the room when you get in to see the investor. If you're 20-something, you haven't started having a family, you've got to talk about what your plans are around that. You don't just let it slide, because basically it's going to be talked about anyway. They're going to go back to the partner and say, oh, she's just going to turn around and have babies and leave the company. And you probably all heard that big clamour on the internet last year when co-founder, Jessica Jackley, who used to be the co-founder of Kiva, one of her investors in LA wrote a blog post when he found out she was pregnant with twins, and said that she was going to he was worried that she was going to let her startup down. And there was a huge furor, and everyone was like writing comments